Yeah, I was late for videos again, so let's just not talk about it. Let's just get into this. Alright, what is up? Welcome back to Recaps. I'm pretty sure this is week 12. I'm not even sure, of Washington Capitals hockey. This is Chirpin DMV. I, of course, am Ben, your guide to all things Washington Capitals hockey. So yeah, like I said off the hop, I was going to do this video after they played 3 games, but then I wasn't able to, so now they've played 5 because I forgot they had a back-to-back this weekend, so I'm talking about 5 games. We're going to buzz through the first 3 because I don't want to talk about those and you don't want to listen about those, so let's just buzz through them. So the game against St. Louis, Backstrom and Oshie still not in it, didn't travel, awesome. Tom Wilson, this was his 600th game. That's insane. He's only like 27. Feels like he stepped right onto the team like instantly. I guess he pretty much did, but it's crazy it's already been 600 games. So congrats to him. This guy is going to be here for a long time, I think. So expect that number to just keep climbing. Sammy was in net for this one, and things got started early. There was like 3 scoring, like prime scoring chances exchanged by both teams, like right off the hop. Sprong scores the first goal of the game. The Blues tie it up. Capitals get like 9 million open net chances, can't score. The Blues score again, take the lead. There's a stat that showed up on the screen that Ovi had like 47.5% of points on Capitals goals. That's insane. This guy is just on a mission this year. I'm all for it, but a little quiet in this game because the Blues go on to score like 3-4 more unanswered goals, and that's pretty much like the story of this game. The Blues just beat Washington like all over the place. Sammy did not play a very good game in this one. Fucale came in relief. They didn't score on him. They ended up scoring an empty netter though. The Blues won this one 5-1. That's a dust your hands, forget about that game kind of game. Then we had Minnesota. McMichael made his way back into the lineup. Like I said, like it wasn't anything to worry about when he got health bombed against St. Louis, but he made his way back in the lineup for this one. Also had Fucale starting, which was like the right decision. I think Sammy had a tough game and had played a long stretch of games. Vitek, I'm pretty sure, was still out at this point, so give Fucale the start. He's playing good. And McMichael gets it started early. Jensen just throws a puck on net. McMichael's like literally next to the net. He just like cross-checks the puck in midair, finds its way in. Sometimes being benched, I know this like scoring the goal had nothing to do with being benched like technically, but it could just like, it gives him the confidence now that he scored coming back. Now he feels like he's on top of the world. Also in this point, Zach Fucale set the record for the longest shutout streak to start an NHL career. It was like over 110 minutes. So, you know, congrats to him, but we all know how it ended. So it's tough to look back on that record with like any satisfaction. But before we get to that, Capitals power play has obviously been struggling pretty severely, especially in the month of December. And so they get a power play, and right off the rip, Ovi feeds it over to Kuznetsov from the office, from Kuzi's office apparently. He snipes a one-timer. He does the bird. He's all pumped. Capitals have a 2-0 lead, power play scoring, everyone's feeling good. But then of course the Carl Hagelin goal happens, and there's no one you can feel worse for this happening than Carl Hagelin. This guy gets lampooned, and I am guilty of this too, of lampooning this guy for not scoring on wide open nets. Minnesota takes a penalty. The Capitals have 6 men on the ice. Carl goes to throw it back to the point. Of course it goes all the way down into the Caps wide open net, and not only is that devastating for Carl, obviously, and for Caps fans to see the team score on themselves, but Zach Fucale's shutout streak being ended when he's not even in the net by his own team has to be top 3 worst things that could happen as a goalie. I would think like scoring on yourself would suck. Allowing a goal from like the other end of the ice would suck, but your own team ruining your shutout, not only a shutout, your longest shutout streak in NHL history to start a career, your own team ruining that while you're not even on the ice. That's got to be top 3. That sucks for Zach Fucale. Sucks for Carl Hagelin because that guy got smoked on Twitter. It was insane. But then after that, the Wild score in the final minute to tie the game. Capitals don't win in overtime. Stop me if you've heard that before. And then they lose in the shootout in a game they were up 2-0, had about 5 or 6 power play opportunities and didn't score on. So the power play struggles, though they scored on one in this game, were still severely bad. Then we had the Boston game. I missed this one, thankfully, but I saw the live tweets coming in. It was Fucale back in net, deservedly so. Vitek was backing him up. Orlov and Hagelin both got placed on COVID protocol. I'm pretty sure Hagelin was on witness protection, not COVID protocol. That guy just had to get out of the DC area. People wanting this guy's head on a stick, so I wouldn't blame him. We did get Backstrom and Oshie back in this one though, which is always nice, but the Caps got things rolling early, specifically Connor Sherry. 2 goals in the first period to take a 2-0 2-0 lead. However, after a 5-on-3, David Pastrnak scores 2 goals in the first period within like a minute of each other to tie it up. So that lead was gone. Then in the second period, it was pretty much all the Bruins. They scored 4 unanswered goals, and then TJ Oshie finally responded at the end of the period. An Ovi pass went off like it's skating into the net. And then Marchand, after getting his nose broken by a high stick, tucks like 2 goals. So 7-3 loss for the Capitals. Matt Grzelcyk, not even the best defenseman on his own team, had a 5-point game against Washington. That is tough. Zach Fucale got lit up. Not blaming him, obviously, but he did. So yeah, like if the St. Louis game was wash your hands and forget about it, I don't even want to know what this Bruins one is. It's like throw it in the trash, burn it, bury it at the bottom of the ocean or something. I don't know. Thankfully, after that one, though, we got to face the Islanders, who just stink this year, and I'm very okay with that. I've been sick to death of them being good for the last like 3 years because it doesn't make sense. Yes, they have a good defensive coach. Shout out Barry Trotz, miss ya. But the star power on their team is minimal at best. So the fact that they've found their way to the conference final like 3 times is nothing short of disgusting to me. So the fact that they're doing bad this year is great. We had Vitek in net for this one too, which makes sense. This guy hasn't been in net for a while, so I was very okay with putting him in the pipes with this one. But anyways, it's Tommy Wilson from Toronto, Ontario. He'd been skidding a bit. He hasn't been scoring a lot. Points had been few and far between, but he snipes this one. He gets a nice pass from Protas. He's completely naked in the slot, just wide open. Snipes at low blocker, I think it was, maybe high blocker, I don't know, but on Varlamov to take a 1-0 lead. Nice to see him burying those, because it's not like he doesn't get chances. He doesn't bury all the time, but this one, nice clean shot, sniped it right past him. Goalie didn't really have a chance. Kind of what separates Wilson from other goons, he can shoot like that. Ryan Reeves can barely skate, let's just be honest. Then in typical Islanders game fashion, there wouldn't be a goal for 2 periods until there was less than a minute left, and it was Ovi. He's also been slumping a bit. It was like 4 games without a goal during their 4-game losing streak. I wonder if there's a correlation there. But he gets the empty net goal for his 25th of the year. That one's got to feel good. Get the monkey off the back a little bit. Monkey off the back. He's second in NHL scoring with 25 at this point, so if there's a monkey on his back, it really hasn't bothered him very much. And the Capitals win this one 2-0. Vitek gets a shutout. You just love to see that after some of the weak goalie performances that have been put on, and especially by a guy who hasn't been in net for a while. So yeah, good to see Vitek playing some good hockey. Now the Islanders game was a Saturday at 2 p.m. matchup, and then they had another game the next day against Vancouver, also at 2 p.m. Such a bizarre schedule. So that's why Sammy's in net for this one, because they didn't want to play Vitek back-to-back. We got Orlov and Hagelin back from COVID protocol. But I forgot to mention in the last game that Oshie left with an injury. This guy is having a bad year. Like, not even like when he's out there, he's playing fine, but he can't stay healthy to save his life. It's like getting concerning at this point, how he'll just be in for a game or 2 and be out for 6, Anyways, in this one, John Carlson also leaves on COVID. I mean, there's a few players you don't want to be on COVID protocol, and John Carlson is one of them. So they're missing their top D in this one against Vancouver. Didn't seem to affect them offensively early, because on the power play, again, they've been terrible on the power play, but they're playing the number 32 ranked penalty kill here. If there's a time to get the confidence up on the power play, it's this game, and Ovi scores from the office. Kuzi gives it over to Justin Schultz. Schultz over to Ovi in the office. I think it went 5-hole on Demko, who actually played an unreal game, so that just goes to show how good the shot was. And Ovi is now tied for the league lead in points in the NHL and goals with Leon Draisaitl for both points and goals, and I think McDavid for points also, obviously. So he's got his 26th of the year, back in the Rocket Richard hunt like it's just another day at the office for him. Capitals have a 1-0 lead that they carry into the second, but the Canucks score 33 seconds into the second period on a power play. Capitals have had a bad habit of starting periods, specifically the second period, starting them off poorly. This is another example of that. 33 seconds in, Pettersson he just shimmy shakes 1D, and then he has all day to shoot. Goes high glove on Sammy. Again, it's always Sammy, but it's just, these are some shots that I'd like him to have. Pettersson has an unreal shot, so I get it, but high glove is really a weakness for him, so I'd like to see him make a save there. Then like 4 minutes into the second, there's a big scrum with Hathaway. Obviously goes without saying when he's on the ice, but Matt Irwin kind of gets into a fight, I don't know, with some guy in Vancouver. Don't even remember his name. I think it was Burrows. Not like Bite Burrows, but like other Burrows. And it wasn't much of a fight. Irwin was completely off balance the whole time. It's kind of been a theme with the last few Capitals fights. They haven't been fights at all. There hasn't been a punch thrown in the last like 3 fights. But then like a minute later in the second period, Pettersson strikes again from behind the net. And again, I hate blaming Sammy because he is really good when he's on, but sometimes he's not on, and he was just out of position in his net. It went off his back and into the net from behind the net. Like, heck, that really shouldn't be happening in all honesty. And I know, again, Pettersson, very skilled player, he can make those plays, but still, like, he shouldn't have the opportunity to if you're in position. And then that second period's pretty much all Canucks. They're like dominating Washington, which is not awesome when you're playing a team that was a bottom feeder until they had to fire their coach, not even mid-season. So they're dominating. They end up getting a power play. Bo Horvat scores on that. Vancouver's up 3-1 going into the third period. And that power play came on Hathaway taking a dumb penalty. He like punched Ekman Larsson's helmet off his head for no reason. Like, he could have just kept shoving him. They were shoving, but he punched the helmet off his head. Hathaway took a couple dumb penalties in this game. He also elbowed Tyler Mott in the face. People were upset about that one, even Capitals fans on Twitter, because it was just unnecessary and dumb and resulted in penalties that they didn't need to take when they were down and not playing well. So yeah, Garner, our dog, didn't have his best game here. But then the power play that, again, looked good in this one. People want to blame John Carlson not being there. I can go ahead and blame them playing the worst penalty kill in the NHL, just giving them all kinds of time and space. So Backstrom on the half wall, love seeing him there. Down to Kuzi in front. Tom Wilson in the Oshie bumper spot, he snipes it in. Goals in 2 consecutive games. He's got his 11th of the year. The Capitals are within striking distance. Their power plays scored twice, but unfortunately it was their penalties that would end up biting them in the ass, because Vancouver would end up scoring the empty netter, win the game 4-2. That's a game that, like, again, back-to-back early in the day, I get them not playing their best hockey, but you can squeak out a win against Vancouver. They were close enough. If they just didn't take so many penalties, they probably could have won this game. Granted, Demko played unreal. Demko's a sick goalie, good Boston College kid. If you're a Boston College fan like myself, you love Thatcher Demko, you love the Spencer Knights. Spencer Knight not having the hottest of starts, but it took Demko a while, and look at him now, he's playing unreal. So yeah, you know, second half of back-to-back, like to get the win there, but you know, just a rough game all around. So, and that's it for all 5 of the games that I need to talk about. Not the Capitals' best stretch of the season. People are definitely hitting the panic button right now, especially with the goaltending situation and the power play issues. But you know, with how good they were at the beginning of the year, their hot stretches and everything, they're not different from any other team. They're going to have their down stretches in the middle of the season, and start of January is a much better time to have it than end of March, beginning of April, you know. No, I'm obviously not happy with the way they're playing. I'm not happy with how the goalies have looked. I'm really not happy with how the power play hasn't clicked, because that's losing them games on its own. Not happy with how they're terrible in overtime. That's been an all-year problem. But I'm not panicked right now, because it's just a rough stretch in the middle of the season that every team goes through. They still have their lineup rotating constantly, with Backstrom and Oshie always being out, Orlov and Hagelin going on COVID protocol. They've never been able to just sit comfortably with their lineup and get accustomed to things. Like with the group, they have to keep tweaking things and filtering players in and out. So no, I'm not panicked. I'm not happy, but I'm confident they're going to get out of this, and they'll go on like a 5 or 6 game win streak of their own soon. So, you know, maybe I'm just an optimist. Maybe I'm just too optimistic. Who knows? But that's my outlook on this. Up next, we got Winnipeg tomorrow. Dilly back in DC. That's going to be a good one to watch. Got a rematch against Boston on Thursday. That's a must win. Boston has kind of had their number ever since Braden Holtby left. Got to show that that's not the case anymore. And going back, I know I said I'm not like panicked or anything right now because it's just a rough stretch. The goaltending has consistently been a little shaky. It's consistently inconsistent, which is not good. So I am personally all in on the Marc-Andre Fleury trade idea that Tarek threw out to us. I never thought about that idea. I've never been a get a goalie at the deadline guy. I don't know why. It's just, I've always thought like any goalie can get it done if they're like decent enough, and we have decent enough goalies. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of games where they don't make the big saves that you need to make. Some games they do, that's the problem, that not all games are like that. So yeah, I'm all in on that Marc-Andre Fleury trade. Let me know if you are. I think that would be awesome if he came in and played as good as he did last year, as good as he has in past playoffs, like when he took Vegas to the Cup finals. Hopefully he wouldn't collapse in the finals like he did there. But anyways, yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I have to cover 5 games. Hopefully they're all W's. You know, that makes these a lot more fun to talk about. Also, I tweeted it today on the Chirpin account. Speaking of the Marc-Andre Fleury trade, if there's any trades you guys think that Washington should make, reply to that tweet with them. I'm going to make a video reacting to them like I did with the Kuzi trade video in the summer. I will be as honest as possible. If I think the trade's dumb, I will let you know. But yeah, go ahead and reply to that with your trade suggestions. I'd love to respond to them. Just see what people are thinking, because I'm very one-track mind. I just like to see how this team can win instead of seeing how we can make the team better. So I'm always interested to see other people's thoughts on it. So definitely reply to that. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week when I talk about like 5 or 6 more games, hopefully on time this time. At least we can always consistently cheer about Obi, right? He just keeps going, and that makes me pretty happy. All right, thanks for watching. Peace out.